Hi guys, what we've got for you today is another gorgeous pen. Some of you will recognise it, some of you won't. What we've got is a Sheaffer fountain pen, but which one is it? Around about 1952 through to 1963, Sheaffer brought out two models, or they had two models out. One was called a Sheaffer Cadet, which is this one, and they also brought out an identical pen, slightly different though, a Sheaffer Craftsman. Now the earlier Sheaffer Cadets, what they had is chrome trim, i.e. the cap band and the clip there, and also inside they had a stainless steel nib, which I believe was interchangeable. The Sheaffer Craftsman was again the identical pen, the only difference being it had a chrome cap. This one is a Sheaffer Cadet 23, and we'll show you why in a moment. This one came out a little bit later, I believe around about 1961. It was only in production for a year, but the difference between the earlier models and this Sheaffer Cadet 23 is, as you can see there, in this instance what we've got is a 1/4 inch gold filled cap band, and to the top there we've got a gold filled clip to the very top there, and as you can see it's clearly marked with Sheaffer on the clip. Let's show you a sideways view, and as you'll see in a moment, the Sheaffer Cadet 23, again the difference being it had, or this has, a gold nib. Now these pens were what we term as a touchdown pen, and also I believe at the time Sheaffer, the way they marketed this pen and the earlier versions, they actually called it the tip dip pen, and again we'll show you why in a moment. They brought they brought this model out in different colours. As you can see here, we've got this gorgeous burgundy colour. They brought them out in a classic black, green, a blue, and I believe a grey as well. So they came in numerous different colours. The size of the pen from the top of the cap to the bottom of the barrel, it's approximately 133 millimeters capped. Around the barrel, around about 11, just a tad over 11 millimeters in diameter. So it's a lovely pen. This one came to me in pretty good condition. We've cleaned it, serviced it, given it a polish and a full service, and as you'll see in a minute, it's in full working order. An absolutely beautiful pen, and I believe to be this particular model, the Sheaffer Cadet 23, to be a little bit on the scarce side. I don't see that many of them, to be quite honest with you. Now, as we said, it's got this cap band to the top there, and just above the cap band, the imprint there you can see reads Sheaffer, and then if we turn it around slightly, you can see it says made in Australia. As we said earlier, we've got the Sheaffer written on the clip there, like so. As we said, this is a touchdown fountain pen, which we'll show you in a moment, but let's unscrew the cap. Let's show you the pen in different angles. Absolutely beautiful example, absolutely lovely, in gorgeous condition as well. So let's pop the cap down like so. You can see the section there has got these sort of little rings around the section to make it a little bit more comfortable to grip. And then if we show you the nib, and let's keep it nice and still, you'll see the nib reads Sheaffer, and then just below that Australia 14 carat, and then to the bottom there you'll see it says the number 23, which is a correct nib for this pen. As I say, the earlier Cadet models, they had stainless steel nibs, which I believe, similar to the sort of the Estabrooks, were interchangeable. Whether this one's interchangeable, this one actually may be interchangeable as well, although I've not actually taken it out. So, well, at this point what I'm going to do, I'm not going to take it out, I'm going to leave it because there's no need for me to change it. Now, at the time, the Cadet pens and the Craftsman, they were marketed as what they term excuse me They were marketed as what they term as a tip dip pen, and the reason being is if we turn it round and show you the feed. Now, in all intents and purposes, you'll notice the feed, sort of sideways view like that, looks quite sort of typical of Sheaffer. Now, if I give you a little bit of a close-up, you'll notice very to the middle there, it's got this little hole. Now, this is the sort of the filling system that they actually marketed at the time that they brought out, and they marketed it, as I say, as a tip dip. And what it meant, as we'll show you in a moment, it meant that you could actually just simply dip the tip of the nib into the ink, and it's a lot cleaner for filling as opposed to dipping the whole nib and maybe even the section. So they marketed it as I say, as a tip dip pen, and it was a new filling system for that particular era. As we mentioned earlier, you've got this knurled knob to the end like so, which basically just simply unscrews, and then it actually pulls out like so. And this is what we term as the touchdown filler, and it just, what we do, as I say, the tip dip, we dip the tip of the nib in the ink, and we simply press down on the plunger like so. So as I say, I've just serviced it, so it'll be interesting to see how it writes. Let's just bring on a little bit of tissue to my side. So what we do, we lift the plunger, and what we do, we simply, I'm going to look over the camera, we dip the tip of the nib in the ink, and we just simply, there you go, look how clean it is. We just clean that anyway, and then what we do, we screw the knob to the end back home like so. I don't know if you heard that before. You could hear lots of bubbling noises, which is exactly what we want to hear. So let's bring the pad in like so. So what we have is a Sheaffer. As we said, the model on this one is the Cadet number 23, and as we said a little bit earlier, the pen I'm dating to 1961 through to 1962, and I believe it was only in production, oh, there's a little bit of skipping going on there. It was only in production, I believe, for 1 year, which, to be honest with you, tells me that, well, it's quite a scarce pen. It's just skipping now and again for some reason. Now let's just see if we've got any bit of flexibility. Yeah, we've actually got a little bit of flex in the nib. So, and all in all, it's actually it's actually a nice writer. So on the downward stroke, we're just beginning to get a little bit of skip for some reason. I believe that might be just because we've well, basically just serviced the pen or just filled it. What we'll do, we'll check that afterwards, but all in all, there you go. You can see there's quite, well, not quite a bit, there's a little bit of variation in the nib from a broad, so there's a little bit of flexibility in the nib, but all in all, a very, very nice writer. So let's pop that to one side. Incidentally, some people sort of think, well, they like to sort of know how these pens fill, so what we'll do, let's unscrew this section like so, and what you have inside is this aluminium sack protector, and inside there we've got the sack, and in effect what happens is, as we push down on the plunger to the end there, it creates a pressure inside which contracts the sack inside, and once you actually put the plunger back, if you like, the sack sort of expands again to its original position, and at that point it takes in the ink. Okay, so there we have it. Let's put the cap back on. So all in all, apart from just a little bit of skipping, which we'll check up in a moment why that's doing, all in all, absolutely gorgeous pen. So what we have is the Sheaffer Cadet number 23, or Sheaffer Cadet 23, and this is what the Sheaffer at that time they call the tip dip pen. So we'll pop that down there. I hope you've enjoyed looking at the pen as much as I enjoy showing it to you. Leave a comment, don't forget, but for now I'll just say bye bye now.